What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol PROG for Progenity Inc. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, because we have not yet covered this one together on the channel, let's start with our daily roadmap, just pointing out obvious areas of support and resistance. Then we'll talk more nuance as we drill down to the 30-minute intraday time frame. So just pointing out a couple of daily areas that jump off the page at me, noting that we had resistance or prior support, which should have acted as resistance here, and then the top of that range as well up towards 264. Let me just quickly scrunch this chart up and illustrate that this is not an investment. This is a quick trade, right? Aggressive downtrend here. This is not something you want to be caught holding for a long period of time. So zooming back into the daily here, obviously we have a gap underneath us that's in play underneath 122, fills down towards 108. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's just go on over to the trade tab and note here that this is going to be hard to borrow. You're not going to short the shares, and obviously with a spread of a 50% spread, right, on the at-the-money strikes here to the put contracts, not something you want to be involved in, right? You're taking a 50% haircut if you want to market in and out of these contracts. So back on over to the charts, I would not advise a short here. There's been no company-specific news that has caused this move here, but there is company-specific news that has caused the downfall of this spike higher. If we pop open the news tab, you can see that they're doing a $20 million direct offering of shares, which essentially is going to, sort of dilute the value of the shares, if you will, for existing shareholders. It's just not generally seen as a positive thing for the stock. Anyways, you're here for a technical analysis, not a fundamental analysis. If there is a turnaround to the upside, if this is an oversold reaction here, what are the critical areas to be watching? Well, obviously, we have this resistance up here towards 205, right? You can see rejection. That's kind of where this stemmed from to the downside. But before that's even unlocked, we need to consider the Fibonacci perspective. We'll come in from the highs down to the lows. Let me just drag this off to the left so we can see. And look at where the 38.2 is, right? You can see that on this little inverted hammer here, there is technically a wick that tested it, and we also get resistance from in the past. That's at 166, right? So that's a must-have area on your chart. Let's map that in, get rid of the fibs for clarity's sake, and talk about some scenarios. So scenario number one would be if we remain under 150, look for a rollover to fill the gap. I would not want to be involved in this stock whatsoever. If we can open back above 150 and consolidate in here, scenario number two would be a break up and over 166 to retrace a majority of this emotional move from in here back up towards 205. It would require a significant amount of volume for that to unfold, so be on the lookout for volume bars on par with what we have in here, right around 40 million, 35 million, somewhere in that range. If it's anything less, I would not have confidence in the move higher. The other scenario, of course, would be that we just go sideways here, and again, as volume dries up, it slowly drifts lower over time. So again, something like this, multiple days until it gets back down into this range from back in here, resuming the very overwhelming long-term daily downtrend, okay? So be very careful with this one. Remember, it's a trade. It's not an investment. You have the levels I'll be watching. Anything over 205 gets us into that 236 from the daily, and then after that, 264. Again, that move would have to be supported by extremely high volume if there's going to be any turnaround. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything new today, let me know down below in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.